I go bikepacking all over the world and I make films of my adventures for YouTube, and I'm a massive fan of flying drones. I love the fact that you can capture beautiful landscapes, and if you're pretty skilled, you can capture footage of yourself as well. It makes it look a little bit more pro. But inherently, bikepacking and drones just don't really mix. If you want to get really good quality footage, you need a powerful drone, and those tend to be really big, really bulky, and as a result, they just don't really fit in your bikepacking setup. Secondly, it's actually really challenging to film yourself while you're riding, because you have to keep one hand on the bars, one hand on the remote control. Technically, you're not supposed to do that, and you need to keep it in line of sight. You also need to make sure that you're in the shot, so your speed is matching the drone, so that's very difficult to do over bumpy terrain with one hand. Now, don't get me wrong, you absolutely can do it, but it is very, very difficult. And for most of us, it's probably just not worth the risk. But I'm pleased to say there is a drone out there that tackles both of these problems. In fact, I have it on me right now. So this is it. This is the HOVERAir Pro Max drone. And as you can see, it folds down, which makes it ideal for putting it in your jersey pocket or trousers like I did, or in your bikepacking bags. It's also very different to other drones that I've flown in the past, even FPV drones that tend to have propeller guards around the side to stop them from bashing into things. This is basically enclosed in a cage, so it's very difficult to damage this, so you really can just sling it in your bag and it won't damage the props. So that's the problem of size sorted. We will touch on the specs in just a second, but the other cool thing about this drone is you don't actually need a remote to fly it. It's an AI-powered tracking drone, so when you're out on your bike, it will automatically track you, which makes that difficulty of having to steer with one hand a thing of the past. Let me run through the specs with you really quickly. This drone is tiny. In fact, it's the lightest drone I've ever used. It weighs less than 200 grams. A lot of drones nowadays try to get under the 250 gram limit, meaning there's a couple of restrictions that might be lifted, but with this, you're well below that. And it's really impressive quality for its size. It shoots in 8K up to 30 frames per second, and if you want to go down to 4K, you can go up to 60 frames per second, and even 120 frames per second for really slow-mo stuff if you want to. But this is the first drone I've owned that is true 8K, and you can really tell the resolution is fantastic. You can collapse the sides down, as I mentioned, and when you do that, it reveals the USB-C charging port, and it's got a micro SD. It also has a reasonably good amount of storage in there as well. I haven't actually used the micro SD until today because it has that much storage, and I've been messing around with this for a couple of weeks now. So really handy if you've forgotten your micro SD card. Chances are your entire bikepacking trip can be recorded just on the internal hard drive, which is great. Let me show you how it works. You simply unfold it, press the button to turn it on, and it powers on. And when you do that, it automatically turns on the mode you were using before. So I've got follow mode activated. And all you need to do to fly it is hold out your arm, press the button on top, and in a couple of seconds, it takes off. And as simple as that, it will just follow me around. It really is as simple as that. You just hit go and start walking, and the drone will follow you. But this is pretty basic. We're going to test it further. And to land it, you simply put your hand underneath it and it lands automatically. Easy as that. Let me walk you through some of the modes. Starting with the follow mode. This isn't really for cycling, it's more for walking and slow riding because it doesn't have as high a top speed. But I spent ages trying to catch this out by changing speed, changing direction, and even stopping and turning around, getting really close to the camera to see if it would lose me. But what usually happened is it would get a bit confused and then suddenly find me again. But that was in an open space. What about walking through a wood? It handled it really well, and I was surprised at how well it did given the lack of sensors. The next mode is the cycling mode, which of course is my go-to. It goes much faster here and is similar to the follow mode. It will track you, and I think this looks really cool, like someone's following you with an FPV drone. I also tested this in a variety of conditions, like dappled shade, and it worked fine. I also like the orbit mode, and that is how it sounds. It flies around you, doing a 360 shot of the subject. And for more creative shots, I like this bird's eye view as well. The dolly track mode is interesting. It's a bit like follow mode, but instead the drone goes in front of you, and you can manipulate it slightly with manual control. It takes a bit of getting used to having the drone flying a few feet from your face, but it definitely makes for interesting shots. And if you do this right,
I think this is the best.
So there are loads of weird and wonderful things you can do with this drone, but what if you just want to use it as a landscape drone, like a traditional drone? You can do that in two ways. The first is by using the Hover app on your phone and controlling it on there, so you can basically fly it anywhere that you want. It is somewhat limited in range though, I've found, because it uses Wi-Fi versus a radio frequency, so it can't go off for miles like you can with a traditional drone. But if you're just wanting to capture some scenery nearby you, you can definitely use the Wi-Fi for that. And the other way is by using this. This is the Hover Beacon, and this is basically another means of controlling and communicating with the drone. It's similar to the Insta360 GPS preview remote mic that I've talked about a lot on this channel. I'm a big fan of, because it actually records audio. It has a built-in mic, so if you're wanting to do pieces to camera where the drone's at a distance, you use that as a camera, use this for the audio, you can. It also has a screen so you can preview exactly what the drone is seeing. Finally though, you can use it to actually control the drone. It's got buttons here, it's a little bit like an old Game Boy, but you can control it that way. So if you want to do manual flight or bring it back, you can absolutely do that. So this is an audio test using the beacon. I've got the microphone here and the drone over there about 6 feet away from me. So hopefully the audio is pretty decent there.
I'd say that's pretty impressive, given what it actually sounds like is not great, but it does a good job of drowning out that sound.
One thing that's more relevant to cycling and bikepacking films is that this can be left on your bike. It's waterproof, you charge it using a magnetic charger, and it comes with its own little clip like this, so you can strap it onto the handlebars and it will not come loose. I have found though, when I have been riding on really rough terrain, it does get a little bit shaky, but for road use it's absolutely fine, and maybe light gravel as well, it will stay on there pretty tight.
It's all well and good doing it in open farmland, but I want to put it through its paces.
Now I'm going to be a bit unfair now. I'm going to ride full pelt through the woods using this drone, and we'll see how good the tracking system is. It doesn't have loads of sensors like a super high-end drone, so I have a feeling it will struggle a little bit, but let's see. Here we go.
This was the first time that I'd done this, and I was pretty confident it wouldn't last.
To make it more difficult, it's got an ND filter on it, which definitely isn't going to help things because it's a little bit dark in here. So I'll be amazed if it lasts the whole way.
I could still hear the drone behind me, so I carried on as fast as I possibly could down this windy footpath, and I knew the path was going to get narrower. I was going as fast as I could, but I just simply couldn't get the drone to crash. The trees started closing in, and it still wouldn't crash, until the inevitable.
There we go. Finally managed to beat it. There it is. It did very well, I must say. Let's have a look. Absolutely fine. Great. So that's the HOVERAir Pro Max drone. It's a really great bit of kit. I've been really impressed with it. And I would wager that for most people watching, this is the perfect drone for you, because it's really lightweight, ultra portable, and it's easy to use. If you're not doing video full time like me, you don't have to spend hours learning how to use this. It just works straight out of the box. So ideal for most people, I would say. I'm still going to use this though, although I do have a super mega powerful drone that I use for the cinematic films. I like how easy this is to use, especially doing things like pack crafting, for example, where it's really, really hard to control a drone manually. This can just take off and work for me, and I think it'd be ideal for that. Any questions, stick them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.